All right, this is a video tutorial for Excel Lesson 4. It's on functions, so let's get into it. You should be in Excel Lesson 4, Functions in Canvas. And then you'll see this video tutorial right here. And then the file you need right here is Caribbean Jewelers. So let's download that real quick. And then when the file's finished downloading, go ahead and open it. All right, remember to do the enable editing. And on this file, a lot of times it'll open up on this worksheet, this tab. We want to switch over to the class ring right here. And then let's go up and save it. So go to File, Save As. And then go to Browse, and then whatever you have your teacher tells you to save it as that, and where you save it at your school. So I'm saving mine to the desktop right here, and then now we know it's saved. All right, so we're going to get started. So the first thing it says to do is go to B2. And then we want to put our time and date. So we're going to go to Formulas. And then the date and time's right here. And then we want to find the one that says Date and Time Now. So right here. So it just says Now. So just click Now. And then press OK. You'll see it brings this in. And now with this selected, so make sure you're still on B2. Excuse me. We want to do an auto fit so we can make sure everything shows on this. So go to Home, right up here to Home. Go over to Sales, and then Format right here. And then click the drop down, and then go down to auto fit column width right here. Auto fit column width right here. And then you'll select that. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do is we're going to set a function in C5. So go to C5. And then we need to go to Formulas. And then go to Lookup and Reference, so right here. And then go to VLOOKUP, all the way down here at the bottom on mine. It should be that way on yours too. So just select that. It's going to bring up this. So you'll do B5 right here. Okay. And that's B5. And then we want to select our table right here. And so we're going to put A16. And then we want to put a colon. Whoops. And we want to do it through B19. So type in B19. There's a few ways you can do it. I prefer to type it in. But you could go down here and do it that way too. All right, A16 to B19. And now we want to make this an absolute where it's not moving around. So if I move some data somewhere, I'll still be grabbing these cells. So what you do to do that is you can press, so highlight it like I have, and then press F4 on your keyboard. It's up top. You'll see F4, and it'll put these dollar signs in there to make sure it's an absolute value. Now, you could type these in. So if you notice, there's a dollar sign here, dollar sign here, dollar sign before the cell column, and before the cell row too. So that's how you do an absolute value. All right, next thing is we want to do a column index right here. So put 2, and then a range lookup. We want to put false. So type in the word false here. All right, and then press OK. And so basically what set up is taken, we have B5 if you look here. So this is B5, and it's saying compare to these down here. And then when you find the one, if you find the one, drag up the number that's on the next column. So if you look, it says B5, which is this, A16, which is this, through B19. So it's just saying, and then the column 2's right here. So it's saying we're only checking 2 columns right here. And then when you find the one, I want you to drag it up here. So that's the formula. Okay. So now we need to turn this in. If you look, these are dollars. You know, it's money, currency. So we need to put that up here. So the next thing we're going to do is make sure you're clicked on C5 right here. And then go to Home. And then use this drop down right here in the accounting thing. And then go down to accounting right here. And it's going to turn that into this. And then we want to drop down and do the rest. Okay? All right, the next thing we're going to set up another function. So we're going to click into E5 right here. And then we want to go up to formulas right here, formulas, and then function library, which is this right here. And then we want to find the one that says logical. And then we want to choose the one that says if. And it's going to bring up this drop down. And then we want to type in D5 and then equal. And then quote, yes, and then end quote right here. So true. All right. And then right here, we want to say, we want to use this. So parenthesis, C5, oops, C5 times B21, and then close the parenthesis, and then plus C5. All right, so we're trying to find the total. Now we need to make this, oops, C5. B21, we want to make an absolute value. So you can just select this right here, and then click on F4, and that's going to turn that in. Again, you could type that in, but it's a little quicker doing it this way. All right, and then the next one, we want to put C5. All right, and then press OK. It's going to bring that in. And then we want to copy down the formula to go all the way down. So we'll go down like this. Drop it. And then we're going to leave this selected. And we want to turn this into money, right? Just because that's what the Home tab, this drop down, and then press accounting, and then I'll turn that one in. All right, now we're going to figure out the monthly payment. Sure you're in G5, and then we want to type in, or first we need to go to formulas, and then the financial group, and then financial, and then find the one that says PMT. So right here, PMT. And that's going to be able to help you calculate the loan rate. So your monthly payment. So
type in B22.
And then we want to divide it by 12 because that's, oops, Want to divide it by 12 because that's the there's 12 months in a year, right? So we're trying to do that. All right, next thing we need to do, we want to make this an absolute value. So select this and then press F4. And then that'll turn that into an absolute value. The next thing, we want to put F5 times 12, again, months, and then E5. Okay. And that's it. That's all you need to do for this. Just make sure that's an absolute value, right? And then press OK. It's going to give you your monthly payment. And then you just drag it down to here. And that's going to be... okay, so the next step, we copied this to this. And now we need to apply the accounting range. So select this if you don't have this selected anymore. And then go up here to Home. And then it's going to put the would be the monthly payment on these rings or whatever they're at, the jewelry. Okay. Now, we need to calculate the totals. So the first one we're going to do is in C12. And then hold your control button down and then click E12 and then G12. That'll let you do all three of these at once. So what I did is clicked in C12, hold your control button down on your keyboard, and then select these other ones. Now we can go into the home ribbon right here, and then auto sum right here, and just click. And that's gonna put your totals in here. Okay. Okay, the next thing we need to do, because you can't really see the totals here, is go in between the C and the D and just double click. That's going to open that wide enough so you can see that. And then E in between E and F, and then G and H. And that'll make where you can see the totals. Because if not, it'll just have those hashtags on there. All right, the next thing to do is we want to set the page layout. We want to set the left and right margin. So the left side and the right side for when we're going to print this page. So go up to page layout. And then go to the page setup group. Go to margins. And then custom margins right here. Now, go to the page tab right here. And then, so you want to go right here, go to fit to, and then make it 1 by 1. So 1 page by 1 page tall. So 1 page is wide by 1 page tall. So make that, I didn't have to change that, but just double check it, make sure both of those are changed. All right. And then we need to insert a footer. We can do footer. And then we want to go to custom footer right here. We're doing a footer. And then you're just going to put your name right here. Press OK. You'll see it's on the footer on the left-hand side. And then press OK again. And then we're done with this worksheet. Now we're going to go to the next part we need to do in this assignment. So what I usually encourage students to do is save this. So go to File, Save. All right, and the next thing we're going to do is come down to loan types. So select this down here at the bottom, right there. All right, so we're going to be figuring out a couple of things. We're going to be figuring out these home loan, car loan, student loan, business loans. We'll figure out the rates per month. We're going to figure out, this stands for number of periods right here, which means it's going to calculate the number of loan payment periods that we're going to have right here. And then we'll start figuring out how much a home loan for a $400,000 house would be a month. And then $1 million, $2 million. So it goes up in value. Same with car loans. We're going to figure out how much a monthly payment would be for like a $100,000 car. So maybe like a Tesla or something like that. And then student loans, you'll see the student loans. We'll figure out the monthly payments for that. And the business loans. So that's what we're doing on this. So we're going to start up here in C5. Okay, so let's figure this one out. We're just going to set a formula right here. So we're going to put equal. And then we want to take B5. And then we want to divide it by 12. Okay. So that's our rate per month. So we divided this out. And then click down here and then drag that. And that's going to set that up. Now let's set up the next thing. So we want to set this. We want to equals. And then we want to set the years right here. So D5. And then multiply it by 12 months again, right here. And then press OK. And then you'll see that. Okay. Then drag that down. All right. Now, so we're going to come down here to B11. And then we're going to use this information that we just figured out. And we're going to find out what the monthly payments for each of these will be. So let's do that now. Let's go to, make sure you're in formulas up here. Go to financial. Go to PMT. So right here, you're looking for this PMT for payment. And then we want to take C5. Whoops. And then we want to go down to E5. So that's going to be this one. And then minus A11. All right. Now we need to do these. Remember, we need to do these in absolute value. So select that. Press so we need to select this first. And then press your F4. Select this first, press F4. And that's going to turn these into absolute values. Press OK. And so the monthly payment for a $400,000 home loan at these rates would be this. And we want to drag this down and copy this to the rest of them. Okay? Now we're going to go over and we're going to figure out some car loans using this number right here. So the next thing we need to do is go to, same thing, go to financial. We want to figure out the payments again. So go to PMT right here. And then C6. Whoops. C6. And then E6 is going to be this. E6. And we want to minus it by this right here. So it's going to be A21. Or excuse me, D11. Now we need to make these absolute. So select them, do the F4. Got our D11. We need to put our minus sign in here. So put minus sign. And then press OK. And so that's a car loan on a $10,000 loan. That would be your monthly payment. And then drag this down and you can see monthly payment on the rest. Okay, now let's figure out a student loan right here. And so we're going to go to financials again, go down to payment. All right, you're seeing a trend here. So C7, which is going to be that one. And then E7, which is going to be this one. E7. And then minus A21 right here. A21. Okay. So I'm going to select this. Do our absolute value. We need to make sure to do that. The other thing, make sure you have these minuses on here, right here. And then press OK. And so for a student loan, $10,000, that will be the monthly payment. Let's drag it on down to $200,000, and that's what we get. All right, let's figure out this business loan. So the next thing we're going to do, make sure you're in E21. Go to financials. Go down to payment, so PMT right here. And then the rate's going to be C8. So that's going to be this right here. And then the time period is going to be E8. Okay. And then minus D21, which is this right here. So let's make these absolute values one last time. And then press OK. All right. See here? I need to change this to D21. That looks right. So if you need to do the formula again, say you mess up like I did, you can go back up here and edit it this way. If you go back into the financials right here, so PMT, you'd have to set a whole new one, which is not bad, but just realize you can do that. Okay, all you need to do is have this and then save it, excuse me, and then save this and then submit it to Canvas, and then you're done with this assignment. Hope this helps. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.